Mantour Ministries presents the Mantour Guy podcast. We may talk about football. We could mention bacon. We might reference Rocky movies. We'll probably discuss the Mantour conferences, but we'll definitely talk about how to grow in our walk with God. Here's your host, the Mantour Guy, Jamie Holden.
Hey guys, welcome to the Mantour Guy podcast. Jamie Holden here, and I'm so happy to have you join us once again this week. Well guys, let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone cliff jumping? You know when you jump off high rocks or a cliff in the water below? You know, sometimes you do it with a rope swing, other times, you just run and you jump. And if you've ever done it, you know the twofold aspect of it. You have the initial cautionary fear you have to conquer, can I actually get myself to jump off of this cliff? And then once you do it, you have the unexplainable exhilaration you feel as you fall through the air towards the water. Guys, it is truly an unbelievable feeling. I remember the first time that I jumped off a cliff. I was a freshman at college, and some of the guys in my dorm that I met at orientation asked me to come with them dam jumping. Now, you have to understand I'm not really an adventurous guy by nature. My natural tendency is to be a little bit fearful and reserved. But I grew up with a lot of fear issues because of the abuse in my life. But that day, something inside of me said I needed to step up and conquer my fears if I was going to survive 4 years of college. So I went ahead and I accepted their offer. And as we drove towards the dam, I can tell you guys, I was literally shaking. I was scared to death. My fear was in no way alleviated when they told me I need to keep my eyes open for cops because the cops frowned upon the college students jumping off the dam. I mean, technically it wasn't completely legal, but all the cops could really do was ticket you for parking alongside the road. Well, guys, I wanted to go straight back to the car and drive back to campus when I heard that. However, there were already about 20 to 30 other students there, so I just couldn't back out now. I'd gone too far. And I'll never forget how I felt standing on the edge of the rocks, preparing to jump thousands of feet to my death. All right, it was only about 30 feet, but to me it seemed like it was way higher. And somehow I found the strength to just run up and make the leap. And I will never forget the feeling as my fear was replaced by this amazing feeling of freedom and excitement as gravity pushed me to the water. Now, I'm sure I was screaming like a little girl the whole way down. But when I resurfaced from the water, I felt such a sense of victory and freedom in my life. I'd conquered this great fear and I had survived. And oh yeah, by the way, guys, after jumping about 5 more times, the cops did come. They did give the driver a ticket. But anyways, well, this is just the first of many times I've had to step to the edge of a mile-high cliff and jump. All right, yes, I know it was only 20 to 30 feet, but really it seemed like a mile. But anyways, this was one of many times I had to push my fear aside to do what God was calling me to do. And I had to learn that in life, fear keeps you from moving forward, while courage brings you victory. And for some reason in my life, whenever God leads me to a new area of ministry or a spiritual adventure or something new, He always approaches me by asking me if I would jump off of a cliff for Him. You know, it happened when He called me to start the Mantours. It happened when I was approached with being an AGUS missionary. It happened when I was called to write the books I'm writing. Each time God says, will you jump off this cliff with me and let me see what I can do? And guys, each time the initial response was the same as it was 23 years ago when I first jumped off the cliff as a freshman. It was fear and apprehension. But each time I followed God's leading, I abandoned my worries and my fears and I made the leap. And each time it was the same feeling of exhilaration as I saw God do things I never believed were possible. And it was all because I was willing to take the leap. And I'll admit that while it has always worked out when God calls us to jump off a cliff for Him, I honestly wasn't expecting Him to ask me to do it anytime soon. I mean, guys, things have been going really well. The ministry's exploded. I'm busier than a one-arm wallpaper hanger. And so you can imagine, as busy as we are and as well as things are going, how surprised I was this summer when I heard those words once again, jump off a cliff with me. You see, I was speaking at church this summer. And when the service was over, we packed everything up, and I was sitting in a chair waiting for Desta to finally stop talking so we could start our trek home. You know how it is, guys. As I waited, a minister I never met came over to me, and he started speaking a word of prophecy over me. He started sharing with me and saying things that only I and God knew, some really painful thoughts and emotions and feelings and doubts and insecurities I've been struggling with. I hadn't even told Desta about these things. But here he was telling me these things I've been talking only with God about. And he ended up by saying, and God's going to ask you to take a huge leap of faith with Him with your ministry. He's going to ask you to jump off a cliff, and you're going to be scared, but trust Him to do what He asks. Well, Well, guys, I'll tell you what, I was a little bit surprised. The guy didn't know me at all. His pastor didn't know anything about me. He didn't know that this was a recurring theme in my walk with God, but there it was again, that call to jump off of a cliff. Those words here spoke to me. Once again, I was left wondering, what in the world does this mean? What exactly was this cliff that God was going to be calling us to jump off? This huge cliff of faith that the guy said to me, you're not going to want to do, but you got to trust God and do it. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, I took the word seriously, but, we went on with our lives. We got busy, and we waited to see exactly what this prophecy could mean. We waited to even see if it even was from God. As the month passed by, this encounter never really left my brain, though. As I kept going, doing the things God called me to do, this experience never really left. And then as we slowly started praying, we started realizing exactly what the cliff that God was calling us to jump off for him, what exactly that meant. We started realizing what it was. And guys, I want to tell you what that cliff was and how you can jump alongside of me right after the break.
Yep. You're listening to the Mantour Guy podcast.
The 2019 Mantour season's almost here. And this year, we're going to come together to learn how, through God, we are all invincible. Guys, do not miss your local Mantour conference. We're going to have powerful main session messages. We're going to have 3 new relevant workshop topics geared to help you conquer the struggles that so many men face. So put your local 2000 Invincible Mantour on your calendar. Remember, through God, you are invincible.
Don't forget to visit iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks.
With the advent of the internet, pornography became affordable, anonymous, and accessible. And with this affordability, anonymity, and accessibility, porn in the minds of many gained a greater acceptability. What we once called hardcore porn, we now call softcore porn. What we once considered softcore, we just now call Game of Thrones. Today, one can easily say that porn has become the norm, and that is even among churchgoers. A recent survey discovered that 64% of Christian men admit that they view pornography at least monthly. That percentage goes up to 77% when considering just millennials, those who are 18 to 30 years old. Among millennials, 36% say they view porn daily. The same survey looked at women, and 13% of Christian women said they had never looked at porn. 33% said that they view porn at least a few times a year, and 15% said they view it at least once a month. To get 250 more pornography statistics, complete with original references and sources, go to covenanteyes.com/pornstats and download the complete report for free.
Sign up for Covenant Eyes using the code MANTOR at checkout and receive 1 month of free service. Visit covenanteyes.com today to sign up, and remember, 1 month of free service when you use the code MANTOR. That's MANTOUR.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Like what you're hearing? Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks.
New from Mantour Ministries, Invincible, scaling the mountains that keep us from victory. You stayed at this mountain too long. These words spoken by God to the nation of Israel thousands of years ago still ring true for God's men today. It's not God's will for his sons to stay stagnant in their walk with God, unable to conquer the mountains that keep them trapped in their old way of life. He wants you to climb these mountains and conquer them. You can learn how in Mantour Ministries' new book, Invincible, Scaling the Mountains That Keep Us from Victory. Available today by visiting mantourministries.com. You can climb your mountains. You can claim victory. In Christ, you are invincible.
Order your copy today at mantourministries.com. Listen to the Mantour Guy podcast on the go via Apple Podcast and Google Play. Thanks.
Hey guys, Mantour Guy Jamie Holden here. Are you looking for a speaker at your church or for your men's breakfast, your next men's event, men's retreat, or men's conference? Well, why not bring me in to speak? God has been moving among men as I've been sharing an encouraging word of freedom and victory. We're seeing lives change, men being saved, people being set free, and guys, chains are being broken. So if your church has hurting men and women, contact me to come share this encouraging word of hope and victory to help you grow in your walk with God.
Welcome back to the Mantour Guy podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back. Well, I wanted to share with you exactly what the cliff is that God is calling us as a ministry to take for Him, what that jump is, what that leap is, and how you can jump along with us. So here's the cliff. Until now, 4-1 Ministries, which is Mantour Ministries and Adessa Holden Ministries, it's all combined under 4-1 Ministries, we have been based in our home. And although we consider it a blessing to have a home to work from, it's becoming less and less practical for us. See, the ministry, it continues to grow, it's exploding, and it's literally taking up more and more of our house. I mean, for instance, we work every day in our living room with TV tables. We've had to push our dining room table to the side and set up a desk to have office space. You know, all of our closets are filled with some sort of office supply or ministry material. I'm podcasting right now from my bedroom, and the basement is filled with the video equipment we use for our video equipment. And guys, to be honest with you, I can't even go down to the basement because of my disability anymore to use this equipment. So every time we want to do any kind of video, my sister has to haul all the equipment up the steps. We have to rearrange the entire living room, film our videos, and take it all back downstairs again. I mean, guys, in reality, the only room not being used by the ministry in our house is our bathroom. And if our closet in the bathroom was bigger, I'm sure we'd fill that up too. But anyways, we haven't really ever talked about this because we consider it just such an honor to be able to minister, and we've been content to have our home serve this dual purpose. However, as the ministry's been growing and growing, and as it's been swallowing up our house more and more, we believe that in 2019, God is calling us to take a big step of faith and begin having designated office space for our ministries. And after much prayer and research and after much planning, we believe that rather than renting a temporary space or even building a new structure, the most cost-effective plan is for us to convert our 25-foot by 19-foot garage into a designated office space. And after much prayer, we've determined that this will give us enough space to not only work in, but also film our videos, have our video studio, have our podcast studio, and even to store all the books for the Mantour Challenge, which is about 1,500 books. And guys, let me tell you, that takes up a lot of space. Eventually, they get sent out to the prisons, but until that point, they have to be put somewhere. And you know, because we already own the land and we own the house, we believe this is the wisest plan of action for us to do. Now, of course, the big challenge is always the same for us. It's finances. You know, because of my disability, we're going to have to hire someone or rely on volunteers to help with the remodel. And that's where this big step of faith comes in. You know, moving forward with planning and positioning and even casting the vision and telling people about it, all the time trusting that God's going to provide the finances to hire someone or to give us volunteers to help with the project that, guys, if I was healthier, I honestly could just simply do myself. And I'll be honest and say that that is the hardest part. Just like that young man when I stood on the edge of the cliff years ago, we feel like we're standing on the edge of the cliff saying to God, you know, if we share this vision and we start making plans, you know, will you provide, God? Will you come through? And yet I've learned from past experiences that whenever God calls us to do something, He has a reason and He has a plan to make it happen. And all He really wants from us is faithfulness and sacrificial obedience. One of the steps of obedience God is asking us to take in this project is to spread this vision to our partners, our friends, and the people who have benefited from our ministry, and ask if they will partner with us in this ministry expansion. And guys, unless there be any doubt, this is ministry expansion. The new space will be used exclusively for ministry to help reach men and women for Jesus, to spread the gospel to men and women inside and out of the church for the gospel. It is the true ministry expansion. So, how can you be part of this exciting adventure? How can you jump off the cliff with us? Well, guys, there are 4 different ways you can help. Well, first of all, we would love if you would pray for us in this project. You know, pray that God gives us wisdom and provision, and ask God, you know, how you can help us make this project happen. Second, maybe you and a team from your church be interested in helping with the actual construction. There's plenty that can be done. You know, you can help us remove the garage door and reframe and insulate the wall with new outside door. You know, cover the wall with drywall and side the outside. Basically, close in the garage door opening. We need to raise the floor to the same level as the house. Right now, it's a concrete floor. We have to raise that up, and we have to insulate it. We need plumbing installed. We need to install a floor and a ceiling and cover the floor with plywood. We need electrical work. We need to frame out our bathroom. We need to drywall the bathroom and any other unfinished walls, and maybe even the ceiling. Right now we have a wood ceiling. We might just leave it wood. We haven't decided yet. But anyways, we need to help with painting and installing trim. We need help with our carpeting, and we need help when it's all said and done moving furniture into the room. So if there any way your church could help with any of these projects, you'd like to send a team of volunteers to help us with this, to actually do the work, we would love to have you partner with us. And that's another way that you can help us out with this project. A third way you can help out is if you or your church would like, you could donate supplies for the project. We're going to need lumber, we're going to need drywall, we're going to need green board, we're going to need R30 and R19 insulation, we're going to need paint, we're going to need an exterior door, an interior door, we're going to need plywood for a subfloor, and we're going to need some form of flooring to cover it, like a carpet. These items can be donated to the ministry, and each item that is donated helps decrease the cost of the living room. So if you'd be interested in helping with that, we'd love to have you or your church donate items to us. Just simply contact me at jamie@mantourministries.com. Contact me before you send any items. We can just make sure it hasn't already been donated. But we'd love for you to be able to help us if you wanted to donate items to this project. And finally, the fourth way you can help is if you can't do any of the other three, of course you can pray, but if you can't send a work team and you can't donate the materials for the project, you could just make a financial donation to help us meet this need. When you give a tax-deductible donation to this project, or anything to, honestly, any donation to our ministry, it's tax-deductible, and you'll receive AG U.S. Missions giving credit. You'll receive credit with Assemblies of God U.S. Missions for your giving. So you can help us out that way, to give us help, whether it be in a monthly support or as a one-time gift to help us with this building project. Our goal right now is to start work in June of this year, after the Mantour season is done. And we'd love to have you, your church, or your men's group join us and our work crew. But guys, in the meantime, we're busy with Mantours. We're going forward. We have 2 down. We have 6 more to go. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at your local Mantour conference. But today I just wanted to share the vision, share the goal, and invite you. Will you jump off this cliff for us and do what God has called us to do for our ministry and to help expand the outreach of our ministry to others? Well, guys, once again, I want to thank you for giving me your time. We're out of time for this week's podcast, but I want to thank you for giving time today and for listening, for allowing me to share this vision and this goal that God has laid in our heart as we prepare to jump off a cliff for Him. I would love it, guys, if you took a second and shared this podcast to your social media accounts. We'd love to be able to reach even more men and help them grow in their walk with God. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and leave a review on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Also, you can do that on Google Play. You can listen to us on the go. Guys, the more 5-star ratings and reviews you leave, the more men can find us in their searches. And also don't forget to visit MantourMinistries.com to learn more about our conferences, our books, and our resources. Find out where your local Mantour conference is. Guys, you do not want to miss it. God has been moving mightily so far at our conferences. We're seeing men set free, men come to Christ for their first time. God is moving mightily. You do not want to miss your local Mantour conferences. So check that out at MantourMinistries.com, along with our books, our resources, and all that other information. But guys, once again, I just want to thank you for giving us your time, for joining us, and we'll see you next week on a brand new episode of the Mantour Guy podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Mantour Guy podcast. Be sure to visit MantourMinistries.com to learn more about our books, men's ministry resources, and our Mantour conferences.
One more thing before I wrap up this week, guys. You need to head to CovenantEyes.com and sign up today to protect you and your loved ones from the many traps awaiting you on the internet. I am a Covenant Eyes user. I just signed my 69-year-old father up and put Covenant Eyes on his phone and his laptop. I believe in it. It's an amazing tool. It helps you stay pure online. Guys, I encourage you to try it today. If you use the code MANTOR, you get 30 free days. That's 30 free days. What do you have to lose? So head to CovenantEyes.com, try it today. Like I said, what do you have to lose, guys?
The Mantour Guy podcast, helping men grow in their walk with God.